Hello gamers, Matt Lemke here with True Gamer Goggles, gamer-goggles.com. We're here at the Mage Wars booth at Origins. We're here with Brian and Tom, the creative director and the story writer for Mage Wars. Hot new game, we've got a few questions for them. They've agreed to do an interview. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to try and make this short for you so you don't get too bored, and then we're going to move to a game demo or a brief overview of what's in the box. So what is Mage Wars and what's it all about?
Mage Wars is a game that asks the question, what would it be like for mages of vastly different schools of magic and alien philosophies of magic to come together in an arena and fight to the death to prove who's the better mage? So we have a game design that we created here over several years that involves a variety of mage schools of magic and classes. The initial game starts with a Beastmaster, a Wizard, a Warlock, and a Priestess. They all have unique play styles, and later we'll be adding lots of new mages, Force Master and Warlord. Then we have a Necromancer and a Druid. We have about 24 planned so far. You play the game out of a spell book, which has a nice feel to it. Makes you feel like you're a mage casting spells. You go into the arena. The player is the mage. So he comes into the arena, he places his mage card on the arena, and then all the spells and battles takes place there. The whole game is designed around the concept is what would it be like if magic were real? How would it actually play out? It has a great feel to it. It's a very satisfying experience. When you're done playing the game, whether you win or lose, you feel like you just came out of an intense, real magic arena combat.
Okay, so what about the background story? What is the history of Mage Wars?
Well, Mage Wars takes place on a world that has many different kingdoms and races and a long history of terrible sort of exploitation by magic. For a long time, mages were able to do pretty much what they want when they wanted, and they unleashed powerful spells that destroyed whole continents, leveled cities, could erase an empire's history overnight. So eventually, after enough of this, some of the nations of the world got together and they decided they needed a reason to keep these mages in a way that they could prevent them from causing this destruction and instability. So they instituted the Mage Wars as sort of a way to contain the damage to specific locations and let the mages work out their issues. But like any system, that system is beginning to fray over time and no longer holds the power it used to. So the storyline which will unfold and which the players will be able to influence through their actions will start to shape the evolution of the future of the world.
Kind of like Gladiator on continents?
Kind of. It is in a way.
Well, I get the impression they came up with the concept of Mage Wars to save humanity, or the inhabitants of this world.
Basically, yes, but there's a lot of other factions at force in the world, and we expect that very soon the Mage Wars will spill out of the arena into the whole world itself.
Oh, okay. So, I've been to, Origins, Gen Con, since the first time I saw your game, I think. And you've always got a ton of people lined up at your booth for the demos, but it hasn't come out yet. So what's the story behind that?
Well, we've been working on Mage Wars for 5 years now. With the unprecedented level of combinations of cards you can play, and because there's no randomness in the game other than just rolling dice for your attacks, we have to balance all those factors. So it took a while. So about a year ago, we thought, well, let's go ahead and start showing it off to the world ahead of time. So for us, a year of pre-marketing is a drop in the bucket because we've been working on it for so long. So we came out at Origins last year. We were pleasantly surprised to have long lines in front of our booth, lots of people wanting to play the demo. Everyone was very excited. And we've been building that momentum since then. We've been to every major trade show. We've done over 2,000 demos in the last year. And the results are always the same. When players are done playing the demo, they are very excited. They want to buy the game right then. And that makes us feel good. We're excited. We know that we're doing the right thing. And I think we have a great franchise here that will set the gaming world on fire for those players who love Magic and want to have a realistic duel.
Okay, we're going to pause here at this point. We're going to set up. We're going to go over the game's contents real quick.
This is Mage Wars, and this is a little overview of the game. This is just a few of the sample parts that you get in the game. Players play out of a spell book. So you have a spell book, and you will flip through it during the game turn, where you will look for the spell that you want to play that round. It has a nice feel that, like you're a mage, actually trying to choose a spell that you want to cast each turn. Unlike a card game, you're not drawing cards out of a deck. You're actually choosing to play exactly what you want when you want. So it has an unprecedented level of tactics and strategy built into it, and we've been working on it a very long time to balance everything so players can put in the dirty combination that they want in the game and bring it out and play it exactly when they want to. There's 4 mages in the game, a wizard, a beastmaster, a priestess, and a warlock, and you can choose to play as any one of those. Each of them has a variety of strategies and tactics that you can employ. They have creatures, they have enchantment spells, they have conjurations, they have equipment, and they all have different ways that they can be used so the player can build a customized spell book the way that he wants in order to achieve victory. One of the hallmarks of the game is our spellbook building system. It's a point system, so players will put spells into the book according to how many points that they want to spend on them. If you buy spells outside of your school, for example, the warlock is trained in dark and fire magic, then he'll pay double for those spells. And we found the point system works really nicely so that players will tend to play within their class, but at the same time, they will have the opportunity to have a variety of surprises from other schools in their spell books. We have 24 mages planned, and they'll be coming out 2 every few months, and so these are just the first 4, but there's others coming up. When a player will play the game, let's say that you're the wizard, you might start in this zone here. This is a square zone. Zones are used on the board to regulate movement. You actually will pull the card out of your spell book, pay its mana cost, and put it on the board. So here the wizard has summoned a Dark Fen Hydra. The warlock over here, he sees the Hydra. He's a little nervous about that. He might put up a wall of fire to block that off. Walls are played along zone borders, and they are able to block line of sight, line of fire from the other zone, also to block creatures. In this case, the wall of fire doesn't actually block movement. It will just burn the Hydra if he chooses to move through it. Sometimes then you might actually want a creature to move through it forcefully, so the warlock might pull the wizard through the wall of fire to catch him on fire, and then maybe put up some other walls of fire around there to keep the wizard hemmed in from the rest of his team. All the enchantments in the game, and these are some of the enchantments, they are always played face down, so you don't know what they are. For example, when the wizard summoned his Hydra here, he may have put an enchantment on it. If the warlock decides he wants to make an attack on the Hydra, he might get an unpleasant surprise when the wizard reveals that it's a reverse attack force field that actually sends the fireball back to the warlock. There's other tricks in the game. The warlock might put a face down enchantment in the zone. If the Hydra moves into the zone, the warlock reveals that this was a trap, a hellfire trap that explodes the entire zone. It damages the Hydra and everything else. Of course, the warlock's immune to fire. Other surprises might be a poison blood enchantment, which you play face down on a creature. The priestess might be saving up all of her mana for her epic lay hand spell to heal herself, and then the warlock reveals later in the game that actually she has poison blood and she can't heal, and that's a big disappointment to her and a game-turning event. All the attacks in the game are rolled with dice, and the dice have different numbers on them. Some of them have these starburst symbols. These are critical hits. They always score damage on the enemy creature. The other numbers here, these numbers without the starburst symbols, are regular damage. You have to subtract armor from them. All the attacks in the game have a variety of special effects. They all do what you think they should do. Fire attacks will tend to burn. Lightning will stun in days. Then we have mind spells that cause you to sleep. We have poison spells that cause crippling and rotting and weakness. The entire game works as if magic were real, follows a basic rules of physics. And what's nice about it is even though there's a lot going on, it's very easy to get into and follow because it works exactly as you expect it to work, like as if things were real. And so oftentimes the player will pull a spell and go, if I were to cast this, if this is real, this is how it should work, and guess what? It works exactly like that.